Thank you, Irai, and thank you, Yoav, for a brilliant presentation. So, hey again to everyone who are with me since the opening plenary, and welcome to everyone who are now joining. This is the last, but not least, industry session, closing the kickoff day for AI Week 2023. And as I said previously, this is the dearest to my heart, the connection between industry and academia. So we have a fantastic, super interesting session, and before we dive right into it, I'd like to expand a bit more on some points from my opening plenary. I've been representing Israel, as I've mentioned, in the International Standardization Committee, named SC42, ever since 2018, and I've consulted the Computer Science Department here in Tel Aviv University, as well as to the Tech Transfer Office. So that connection between research and production is something I'm really very passionate about. And I'm now trying to promote that through TAD, which was presented earlier by Professor Saron Rosette. And I want to spend just a few minutes before I hand it off to the guys from Playtika and telling you a little bit more about the research partner program that we've developed. In essence, I'd like to emphasize again our 5 key verticals. So we have what we call the bridge, led by Dr. Moni Shachar, which is basically the Chief Scientist Office. We have the vertical of communities, we have the vertical of education, and we do a lot of work in each one of them. I don't have, unfortunately, now the time to develop that conversation more, but if you're interested, catch me offline and I'll be happy to tell you more about that and what we're doing. And the last 2, which I'm heading, which are the international and industry ones, are ones that we're not coming to replace any existing forms of communication between academia and industry. We're basically trying to find and locate friction points and see how we as a research center can take things forward and help those friction points disappear. So in the research partner program, what we're basically trying to do is we're trying to locate and nurture challenges that industry has that might have interest inside our campus from an academic standpoint, meaning it would be interesting for somebody to publish an article on it, on one hand, and interesting for somebody in industry to develop a product or a service from that research. So that's basically on one leg what we're trying to do. And I think that's it, basically. Yes, we have now 2 fascinating speakers from Playtika, a gaming company. So the first is Assaf Asbag, VP of AI in Playtika, and Gadi Ganon, VP Product Technologies. Guys? You have Madonna? Okay, you're good.
Good luck. Thank you. So hi everybody, I'm Gadi, and we are very excited to be on this stage. So after all this day, let's talk about 2 interesting domains, gaming and personalization. Our belief in Playtika is that's all about the best game experience. This is our secret sauce since we launched the first game and until now as a world leader in the industry. Wait a second. Okay. So our belief also is life needs play. And our vision is to excite each and every one of our players personally, like the game was made only for them. For this reason, we need to analyze, we need to predict if you love to explore, if you love to achieve, if you love to play with others, or maybe your motivation is to break your own records. For example, for explorers, we will recommend new feature they haven't experienced yet. For socializer, we will add more and more capabilities to engage with new friends and to achieve mutual challenges. Sounds good, right? It's good, but it's not enough. Because as a socializer, you might love to collaborate with others, but in the same time, to collaborate with others and to compete against others. In another word, we aim to give to any player the dynamic experience, but with the context. So, as you understand, personalization is complex. Behind the scenes, we need many professionals to be creative, to analyze, to enable, to operate custom-made experiences only in one game. Now, let's take this complexity to 15 games, 9 of them in the top 100 in the United States. Each game has different game experience and different genre, from exploring islands in our Bingo Blitz application to designers look for new innovative ideas in our Redecor application for designers. And all of that with high quality of content and Playtika standards and round-the-clock operation. So, how can we reach this vision? How can we reach personalized experience with millions of players, 15 games, and much more? Our approach is to hide all the drama, all the complexity of algorithm and infrastructure, and all what my great partner will describe right away under the hood. By tackling business processes end-to-end, not as professional streams. It's not necessary. With one AI-driven digital product that empower our teams, constantly learning from their feedback and from their business expertise. So, before we describe deeply our AI challenges, let's take a real use case from life. As we talked, we have many different players. Each one of us is experienced differently. It is based on who we are, what's thrilled us, and it's also based on the context of our journey in the game, our personal journey after day of work, in the sea, whatever. Our first step is to identify different personas and to analyze and predict the way they want to be entertained. Actually, we need to find the right personas and also to find the right content. This is challenge number one. So after we have it, we need now that our products that already enables our game team to manage the first part easily and in a dynamic way, this product needs to close the loop in real time with optimization, machine learning, and other algorithms. And this is what personalization all about. The match between the right player with the right content and experience, but also in the right timing. So, to sum up our first part, our AI-driven digital product enables personalization because of its capability to operate in small teams. For sure, not with different professional silos, and maybe soon with one expert and one central tower that handles the business processes end-to-end, interactively, by providing two things: actionable insights and automated mechanism. And that's how it looks.
Thank you very much, Gadi. The Digital Studio, remember this product. I'm Assaf Asbag. I'm VP AI at Playtika, and I want to introduce to you the challenges we face in the mobile gaming industry to utilize and leverage AI. So, we talk about personalization. We want to guarantee the best experience to our players. So we came up with this concept, Player 360. It's all about our players. If the product team will ask us to develop a specific prediction model to detect a type of persona, then it would have been quite easy. It's the usual flow. I need to collect the data, to prepare the features, to model it, and eventually to serve it. But it's not enough for us because we have many games and we plan to continue and grow. So we need fully automated solution to enable personalization that eventually will be operated by someone, let's call this someone a business manager that is interacting with our digital studio product. This business manager doesn't have any knowledge regarding an AI, and we want him to operate very complex AI capabilities without having any idea what's going on there. So we came up with 4 principles, which I want to share with you to explain how we do it at Playtika. So personalization is a big thing in the world of mobile gaming. There are others. I'm not talking about all the engineering efforts, which are crazy, operations of machine learning, and how to manage all of this beautiful thing at scale. I want to talk with you today about the algorithms challenges we face. So the first thing is how to provide really fast time to market. We want games that integrate with our platform, to connect to our platform, and this is it. Now we start to collect their data, generate the features, provide the models, and eventually bring the results. So to do it, we need to establish a player taxonomy, okay? We need to generate abstraction of games. So I want to explain you 1 second how it goes. Because a game is a game. And every game has a core loop, okay? Game core loop. If it's a match 3 game, where you need to match tiles, you have levels. If you play ping pong, you have a match. But eventually, this is a core loop of the game. And every game has daily activities, short and mid-term activities, long-term activities, meta events. If you keep this taxonomy of abstraction, you can generate a common language. If you manage to establish it, now you can connect to any game, collect its data, and already prepare the data in the target format and schema that you expect to receive it. So let's assume we have it, and we can connect to any game, collect its data, and to start and do our magic. Now, here it's important for me to emphasize that our players' privacy is the most important thing for us, and we keep open line of communication with our legal department to make sure that we address any regulation. I want it to be clear. And now I want to talk about player representation. We have 10 years of data at Playtika. We have many games, and we have different types of data. Audio, images, text, time series. Our time series data is very complicated. It's asynchronical. You don't know when a player is going to do something in the application. Many events are coming from the application. Many of them are not interesting. We need to be able to detect this important event. It's seasonal. The behavior of players in the middle of the week is not the same as at the end of the week. Okay? It's not the same as holidays, in holidays. We need to be aware of it and to make sure that we can adapt. The data is not stationary. The games are evolving. New content is being introduced all the time to the game. And we need to make sure that we are up to date. So we need to be able to represent this entity named a player in a D-dimensional vector. And we need to take tabular data, complex time series data, categorical data, and generate this embedding. Now, transformers or any deep learning models, in the world of tabular data and time series, is a very interesting and active research field. And we at Playtika are very active here as well. And it's not a solved problem. So it's a big challenge that we are facing. Let's assume that we connected to the data, we collected it, and we have a player representation. Now we want to start and understand our players. So we have the standard machine learning models standards. For example, the classical problem, churn detection. We want to detect whether a player is going to churn next week, 2 weeks from now, 1 month from now, and accordingly to make sure that we provide the best experiences to these users. But we want to answer more complicated questions. For example, if I will match this experience to this player, how it will affect his experience? Okay? We want to provide simulations and more advanced capabilities to our business to be able to understand what is the best experiences for our players in order to enable this personalization. So this is the causal inference arena. Sometimes we want to know when things will happen. Churn doesn't have a unique definition. A user can churn next week, but then come back to the game in the 8th day, okay? So we can have a label like next week, 2 weeks from now. But sometimes it's more interesting just to say when the player is going to churn. And this is, in statistics, the survival analysis arena. Now, combining causal inference together with survival analysis, together with transformers on asynchronical time series is a very advanced challenge that we face in research. And I think this is a very interesting domain to share. Now we need to talk about real-time decision-making, because reality is not always exactly as we try to design it. So we need to be able to adjust the player experience in real time. In order to do that, we need to be able to optimize multiple parameters together. As Gadi said, players love to explore, to compete, to be socialized. And we want to be able to optimize all these experiences together. So we need to be able to integrate multiple metrics optimization together with business constraints into our objective function. But I remind you that the business manager that interacts with the system doesn't know what's going on. Everything is under the hood. And last, we also need to know if we are talking about short-term optimization. For example, we have a group of players, and we have all kinds of experiences. We match the experience to a player once, and we try to optimize the experience of these players. This is contextual multi-embedded. But sometimes we want to have a longer-term optimization, and we want to have many activities and many experiences to our players in order to optimize our KPIs for the long terms. And this is the reinforcement learning arena. So my goal was to share with you how the mobile gaming industry leverages AI. And I want to make sure that all of you are aware of how exciting and interesting it is. So in order to enable personalization, we came up with this concept of Player 360. We need to establish player taxonomy and abstract the games in order to have fast time to market and zero effort from the business to integrate with us. We need to be able to represent our players and to understand them in order to provide actionable insights. And then eventually we need to have real-time decision-making capabilities to fine-tune the experiences in real time to make sure that eventually the experience is the best. So as you understand, optimal game experience requires personalization, and personalization is complex. Our AI approach is to have clear player taxonomy and game abstraction, and then we develop a generic framework for player representation and modeling to provide players understanding and eventually real-time decision-making.
Our product approach starts with examining the business process, break the silos. AI and digital enables it. After it, look to keep the drama under the hood and give your customers, your users, easy to use one digital product. And that's how human and machine interact day by day in 15 studios in Playtika. Thank you very much.
Stay with me, guys. It's grilling time.
The hard question is him.
Okay. So, anyone from the audience who has a mic and would like to ask a question, go ahead.
Hi, I actually have two questions. The first is, when you assign a player into a persona, do you consider it as context specific? Meaning that a person can sometimes be an explorer and sometimes can be something else? And the second question is, do you have some metric to measure the level of personalization that is independent of a business KPI?
So, the journey starts when actually you start to play. You experience things, and by experiencing, we can assume, we can predict what you love more, what you love less, and how other players look like. And in this way, in the interactive way, we can improve the experience second by second, minute by minute, and it depends about your engagement.